Hey everybody, it's Gomelix, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing another premiere draft of Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Without further ado, let's take our pretty fun rare. Patrician Geist here is a 3-mana 2/2 flyer that gives your other spirits +1/+1 and makes it so spells you cast from your graveyard cost 1 less to cast. This is a really fun build around rare for primarily blue-white Disturb decks, where anything you have with Disturb comes back from the graveyard as a spirit, and of course costs 1 less to come back from the graveyard, but it can also work in like blue-green flashback decks, making your flashback spells cheaper, so pretty fun build around rare here. We have some pretty sweet commons and uncommons in this pack as well. Play with Fire is just a classic cheap red burn spell, nice little shock there for removal. Delver can be a fun build around for a blue-red deck with a ton of instants and sorceries. Search Party Captain is an incredible common, as we've seen by the likes of Angelic Overseer and Priest of Ancient Lore in the past. Creatures that enter the battlefield and draw a card immediately, pretty much always good. And then there's like Burn the Accursed is solid removal. Elementalist is another kind of draw card sort of creature. But definitely Patrician Geist for me, pack 1 there. And we can follow it up with one of the best blue commons, the Falcon Abomination here. Stick to kind of a just blue flyers theme for now. 3 mana for a 2/2 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, we also get a Decayed Zombie, a 2/2 that can't block and has to sacrifice itself when it attacks. That being said, there's a lot of solid ways to use those Decayed Zombies, things that'll have us tapping our own creatures for good value, or things that let us sacrifice a creature to do something. So Decayed Zombies are pretty good. I'm going to take the Falcon Abomination here. Curse of Surveillance is not a card I'm a very big fan of in this format. The format would have to be incredibly slow for me to want to play a 5-mana card that lets you draw 1 extra card per turn. Just a really slow version. Even like Phyrexian Arena, 3 mana to draw an extra card every turn can be a little slow in some formats, so definitely not looking for the 5 mana way to do that. Solid commons here. Eaten Alive's great removal. Lunarch Veteran is really good for the Spirits deck, but stick to our primary color, Falcon Abomination. That's one of the best cards in that pack anyway, so we can stay to 1 color for now. This pick is going to be really clear for me because I am not a big fan of almost anything in this pack except for Baithook Angler. Just a solid one of those Disturbed Spirits to work with our Patrician Geist. Your 2-drop that can trade off into any 2 toughness creature and come back later. Pretty nice stuff there. But you look at our uncommon, it's just an aura. This is an okay aura because you do draw a card off of it when the enchanted creature dies, so you can get something back. You don't just get 2 for 1. However, you can still get 2 for 1 if your opponent has instant speed removal that they use in response to you casting this, so it still does leave the shields down for 1 turn, which is the big problem with auras. And then our rare sucks, just Pithing Needle. And these other commons are pretty insignificant. Alright, we get to scoop up another Baithook Angler here, pick 4. Another pretty easy pick, it looks like. Solid cards are like Neonate's Rush, since it is a small little burn spell that can try to finish off a creature after combat and draw you a card. Draw a card being the key point there. Ardent Elementalist is a fun card, but it has tended to be too slow for this format. Last time it was around, unfortunately. But that is fun for like any deck with a lot of removal spells and stuff. That'll always be pretty solid, if a bit slow. Foragers is kind of nice for an aggressive deck. Get that extra mana. Everything else in here is pretty whatever, except maybe a Loyal Griff if we want to be definitely blue-white flyers, but Baithook Angler is pretty perfect to go with this Geist. And Gale Drifter is a solid one to go with the Geist as well. It will be a spirit when it comes back from the grave. This is one of the slower Disturb cards, so definitely for a later game. You don't want to run too many copies of Gale Drifter, at least in my opinion. Startle's a really cheap card, and it draws you a card and it gives you that zombie, so Startle is a card that's more consistently good in pretty much any deck, but I honestly think Gale Drifter might be pretty sweet for our deck. Our deck has a very heavy Disturb theme now. We have Patrician Geist, 2 Baithook Angler, and Gale Drifter if we go that way, so we can really go after that theme, that synergy. But Startle is a really efficient piece of interaction, as is Fading Hope, to be fair. So really any 3 of these blue cards are quite a solid pick. I'm going to go for the Gale Drifter, though. I'm going to just stay on theme with that one. Probably the weakest of the 3 cards, but the best specifically with what we've taken so far. Now pick 6. Pretty much nothing here. Storm Skrillex can be a big old flyer if you're casting enough instants and sorceries and it makes them cheaper. Blue-red is not exactly where I want to be with Patrician Geist. I'd much rather be blue-green or blue-white. And blue-red is also not exactly where I'd want to be in this format. I think red is probably the weakest color by a little bit. But the next best card in this pack is the Burn the Accursed. Not a huge fan of these blue commons. Yeah, I'll just take a Storm Skrillex. Maybe all these Burn the Accursed running around are a good sign that red is wide open. Open enough for that to be maybe worth considering here. Immolation is okay removal. Kill a 2 toughness thing. Voldaren Ambusher sucks unless you're the vampire deck, where it is good. Geist Wave. I actually have enjoyed Geist Wave last time I used it. 2 mana to bounce something, and if you bounce your own card, you draw a card, so it's flexible too. Pretty nice. We can take a Neonate's Rush here, speculating on red still. The next best cards are like Dawnheart Rejuvenator, but cool, just scooping up a Neonate's Rush here. Alright, we could be like the blue-red spells deck here. Now we get to scoop up some Ardent Elementalists. Another one of these dorky component collectors I'm not a huge fan of, so I'll just take a Lambhole Terrier. Although our 2-drop slot hopefully can get filled up with all these bait hook anglers if we can get like 4 or 5 of those. Whereas at 3 mana we only have... I guess we do have 2 3-mana creatures already. Yeah, I don't know, I'll take the Harrier. I guess I'll just rare draft the uncommon here. I don't think I'm playing any of those cards. Take another Neonate's Rush. Alright, and a last pick, off-color Hedge Witch's Mask. Well, this could be a reason to attempt to dip towards blue-white instead of blue-red. Adeline Resplendent Cathar, one of the strongest rares in the entire set, sees a lot of standard play. Just an incredibly powerful card here. 2 white and 1 for an X4 with Vigilance. X is the power equal to the number of creatures you control, and whenever you attack with anything, doesn't even have to be Adeline, so if you have a 2-drop and then you play her turn 3 and attack with your 2-mana creature, you're spitting out a 1/1 human tapped and attacking your opponent. Adeline is absolutely absurd, super powerful card in Standard, and no different in Limited. I'm going to take Adeline here and see if we can push into blue-white this pack. We'd love to wheel a Falcon Abomination, but that's highly unlikely. Everything else in this pack's pretty weak. So we'll just take the Adeline here, see if we can hope to get going in that direction. Wow, and now I guess there's a Soul Guide Gryph to follow her up if we want to just force white really hard here, because otherwise there's 1 blue card in the pack and it's just a second Geist Wave. Not something I want to take that highly, even though it is fine. If we push into a different color, the red cards or whatever, we just take an Immolation to stick to blue-red, or we take one of these sweet black cards. Eaten Alive and Diagraph Horde are incredible. Diagraph Horde just puts so much power out for only 5 mana and shuts off Disturb and Flashback cards from your opponent's graveyard. So I think the best card in this pack is probably Diagraph Horde, outside of color, but we don't have any removal yet, so Eaten Alive would be a good way to speculate on black, or we just take Soul Guide Gryph and try to really force into white here. I think I'm going to take Diagraph Horde. Luckily for us, this pack actually has some white cards, so we might live the dream here to take this Borrowed Time here. Excellent removal. 3 mana to exile a non-land permanent until this leaves the board. And yeah, we'll scoop that up. Taking it basically over Flip the Switch. Flip the Switch is a pretty solid counterspell in this format, so we could take that if we're worried that the white, that forcing white won't work out here. But hopefully we get past the Borrowed Time. Hopefully this pack didn't have like a white rare and the person to our left just isn't in white. We'll see soon enough. Okay, now this pack does not have any good blue, white, or black cards. Very filler. Outside of Eccentric Farmer, probably the best card in the pack for being another one of those creatures that draws you a card when it enters the battlefield, even if that card is just a land card. Flame Channeler is pretty solid too. Faithful Mending actually would be okay for the blue-white archetype. Draw 2, discard 2, gain 2 life at instant speed, so it helps you hold up counterspells and stuff, and specifically when you're drawing and discarding 2, you can set up a set up some Disturb cards in your grave. So I guess we can take Faithful Mending, maybe wheel the Observer or Ritual Guardian or something weird like that. Alright, Search Party Captain, really nice creature here, I can scoop that up. There's other great cards too though, Startle and Larder Zombie are both really good. Larder Zombie is one of the great ways to use your decayed zombies, and Startle's a great way to get one out for cheap, as well as using a combat trick and drawing a card. Startle just has a lot stacked on going for it, but I think I'm going to go Search Party Captain here. And commit to white at this point. Kind of wish I just took that kind of 5-drop random flyer there, because I should have assumed, like with Adeline in the deck, I should have known myself better and known I was going to try real hard to force white. 3/3 mana creatures, 2/2 mana creatures, 1 4-drop creature. Do we need the creature more or the random removal? Currently we only have Borrowed Time for removal, and then we have Geist Wave for interaction. I guess I could use the Silverbolt as random removal. Pretty filler level removal. Obviously it's great against werewolves, but other than that, 4 mana to do 3 damage to a creature. You do split it amongst 2 turns though. It's okay if you are lacking on removal, so really don't like the very situational removal like Sungold Barrage though, so I'm going to take the Candlegrove Witch here, and that is a solid creature. 2 mana 2/2, that'll be able to be flying during your turn if you have 3 different powers of creatures on your board. Secret to the Key could be okay in this deck. We've got some graveyard synergies going on. We have some draw discard, and then we have some cards that make our graveyard spells cheaper. Certainly nothing exciting. It's a pretty filler card, but seems like it might be the right kind of filler for us. And none of this is very exciting. Just take a Jack-o'-lantern in case we end up needing or wanting to try to splash something. And we'll do the same with a Mystic Skull here. And we get that Flip the Switch nice and late. Easy scoop up here. Best counter spell in this format. Countering unless somebody pays 4 can pretty much always counter something throughout the game. And you get a Decayed Zombie when you cast that. Alright, we already have a Jack-o'-lantern and another mana-fixing card on our side, so we'll take the Ritual Guardian. Random dorky creature here, another random dorky creature to fill out the deck. And we need to scoop up 8 more cards to reach our 23 non-land cards and have a full deck here, so we'll see how it goes as we head pretty quickly here into pack 3. Alright, we have opened an on-color rare. Is this any good? Sigarda's Splendor. When it enters the battlefield, note your life total. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if your life total is greater than or equal to the last life total you noted, and then renote your life total, and when you cast a white spell, you gain a life. So it could be draw a card every turn if you can keep your life total solid. I don't think this is very good. This is 1 less mana than the 5 mana draw a card every turn card. But it's situational. You don't always draw a card every turn. You have to get lucky to do it. You have to have a good wall of blockers or cast multiple white spells. I'm honestly not a big fan of that. I think I just take the nice cheap Disturb card. The Chaplain of Alms here. Probably a bit contentious, but I don't think that card's going to work out that well for us. All around. Lunarch Veteran is a very solid common Disturb card, but Gavony Dawnguard can be a huge card draw engine. Every time you're flipping between day and night, you're pulling a creature out of the top 4 cards of your library. So that is when you cast no spells during your turn, you flip to night. When you cast 2 spells, you flip to day. And your opponent can do those things as well. I like Gavony Dawnguard here. Had a lot of success with it in our last deck, and I just think it's a pretty sweet card. So we'll scoop that up here. Blessed Defiance is a solid trick. Loyal Gryph is a nice flyer that can save another creature. Maybe Loyal Gryph here. Not a huge fan of the Amalgam. We already have a Sanctifier, and I'm not a fan of it. Delver's pretty good, but our instant sorcery count is too low for it in this deck. We have 4 instants, that's it. So yeah, Blessed Defiance, Loyal Gryph, basically the 2 options here. It's only 11 creatures, definitely need more creatures. We'll pick up a Loyal Gryph. Now we have another Flip the Switch, or we have a Soul Guide Gryph. I think I take the Soul Guide Gryph here. And this is where I really get punished for not realizing sooner that I was just going to force white really hard. Because if we already had 1 copy of Soul Guide Gryph, I could just take another Flip the Switch, but neither of these is going to wheel. We're only going to get 1 of them, and I think we're lacking more on another creature here, especially a big drop. So we've got a lot of 3 drops and stuff. Alright, well, we do get another Flip the Switch here, or a Startle. Both are quite good. Don't know which it's going to be. Not a huge fan of Unruly Mob card. Is never consistent enough for me. It's quite a slow card. Got to play it on turn 2 and wait quite some time before it gets big enough to matter much. I think I like another Flip the Switch here. Faithful Mending and Secrets of the Key are both good ways to use our mana if we're holding up a counterspell and don't end up having to cast it. So we can be a pretty kind of controlling deck with our instants. This is all nonsense. Siege Zombie, Defenestrate. Black was probably the most open color. Well, not the most open color, but the most open good color. Black is just such a deep color that there's probably at least a couple people drafting it, but there's just still good leftovers, you know, coming around quite often. Gavany Trapper or Larder Zombie? That's actually a pretty hard choice. Those are both pretty excellent. I guess we only have 2 zombie producers, just double flip the switch. We do have 1 Falcon Abomination as well. I think I like Gavany Trapper over Larder Zombie, but both would be real good. I'm gonna go Gavany Trapper. Now we can scoop up another Geist Wave or Consider. Not a big fan of Vivisection. Got like Secrets of the Key, Faithful Mending for card draw. We can just take a Consider here, I guess. Or Geist Wave. Oh, actually, I'm going to go for Geist Wave. The kind of fun thing you can do in Geist Wave in these blue-white decks is if you return a disturbed card, then it will come back to your hand as just the first half of the card, and you can do the whole thing all over again. You just play the front half, and then the front half will have to die, and then you can play the second half again. Instead of usually when the back half dies after coming back from the grave, it'll just be exiled forever. So you can get actually a lot of value off of that. Don't like Otherworldly Gaze, only setting up cards, not actually drawing you anything. Not actually digging through your deck at all. Alright, so we get to cut a couple cards here. Our curve's pretty low. It's basically just a mountain of 3 mana stuff. I really don't like the curve of this deck that we ended up with, but we did kind of push into white pretty late here, so we didn't get to get too picky about that. Oh, why is there a Search Party Captain in the side? How did that happen? Yeah, Search Party Captain's definitely in the deck. Everything else on the sideboard looks pretty weak. So we need to cut 3 cards here. What do we want to do? 18 creatures and 8 non-creatures. We have double Flip the Switch, Borrowed Time, double Geist Wave, and Silverbolt to interact with opposing threats. I kind of want to just cut a few creatures here. I don't like all the non-creature stuff. So what are our worst creatures? Probably some of these filler-style Ritual Guardian Celestis Sanctifier stuff, especially because we have so much going on at 3 mana. We probably cut 3 in any combination of these 2. So which works best with our deck? They are both incredibly filler. I think Celestia Sanctifier would probably work best with our deck, because we get to potentially mill some cards off of it, maybe mill some Disturb or Flashback cards, set up our draws as we flip between day and night. Ritual Guardian, I don't know if we're hitting Coven that often. We've got, I guess we have a 0 power, a 1 power, but then it's like 2, 2, 2, whatever Adeline would be. It's like a lot of 2 powers. And 3s, so I think a lot of the time we're just going to be stuck with a 2 power and a 3 power creature on board, not triggered in Coven. That being said, Celestia Sanctifier is not going to trigger too consistently either, but seems like the better ability to be trying to trigger. Our average is 2.7. How does that change after we cut 3 of these? 2.6? Could probably cut a land here and play 2 Sanctifiers if we really want. Be much more confident cutting a land if I could put another 2-drop in the deck, or 1-drop here, but we don't have another one, at least in creature form. For spells, we could put in a pretty weak equipment. That seems not great. Very narrow card there. I don't think we really have anything to put in over a land. It would honestly just be something really filler like a Ritual Guardian or Celestus Sanctifier, so land's probably just better, even with a low curve. So I think this will be the deck. So here's a look at the final deck we've drafted today. This is going to be a blue-white deck. We started off with a Patrician Geist, started scooping up a lot of Disturb cards to go with it, because those will cost 1 less to cast from our graveyard and get +1/+1, since they will be spirits. So we have a lot of flyers in the deck as well, some that are straight up flyers and some that come back from the graveyard as flyers, like the Baithook Angler and the Chaplain of Alms here. And we got a really nice bomb rare Adeline Resplendent Cathar that pushed us into white later in the draft. So pretty aggressive, evasive deck here. Lots of flying, lots of just powerhouse kind of creatures in general. Should be pretty fun. For our interaction, we have a Silverbolt for straight removal, Borrowed Time as well. And then we have a couple Flip the Switches to counter, a couple Geist Waves to bounce things that also give us value bouncing our own cards. And then a little bit of card draw, Faithful Mending that works well in the archetype because we can discard some flashback or disturb cards, and Secrets of the Key, just so we have a little bit more stuff to do at instant speed so that we don't get completely caught with our pants down trying to hold up a Flip the Switch and doing absolutely nothing with our turn. So that is the deck, and we'll see how it does as we head into Game 1. Alright, here we are, Game 1. Opponent is on the play. We've got a Chaplain of Alms turn 1, a Borrowed Time for interaction, and a Patrician Geist. Little heavy on lands here, but overall, I like the hand. Opponent is going to start with a turn 1 Otherworldly Gaze, just going to mill some stuff off the top, set up their next draw. Wow. They're going to mill Covetous Castaway and Baithook Angler. That was quite the mill for them. Now they have a turn 2 play of a 1/2 flyer and a turn 5 play of a 3/4 flyer that can shuffle some stuff from grave into their library if they want. But turn 2 Jadar it is. The bad time does not stop here. Rather just hold Jadar off than hit for 1 here. We're going to be on the back foot this game. Turn 3, Falcon Abomination. Yep. Opponent is curving out on us incredibly aggressively on the play. Jadar into Falcon Abomination with the graveyard set up to not run out of cards. What do we do about it here? Do we just play a flyer against the Abomination? Do we Borrow Time Jadar or Abomination? Just hold up, Flip the Switch. Just gonna hold up, Flip the Switch here, and if it doesn't work out, we can just Secrets of the Key and draw a card. Yes, Jadar is monstrous, though. We probably should have just killed Jadar, because it's getting in for 2 damage every turn, pretty much guaranteed, even if I get a 2/2 out, because it's not like I can trade into the Decayed Zombie. And if Chaplain gets out of the way, Jadar gets in for 3 every turn. Larder Zombie, yeah, you got it. Alright, end step, resolve. And we'll draw our card. Adeline is a start if we hit the white source, and we did, but they have the 3 mana up for their own Flip the Switch. Can't really just play Adeline and attack with Chaplain, because then I'm chump attacking, plus we have to worry about Flip the Switch from our opponent. We need to be able to block things or kill things here. If I spend removal on Falcon Abomination, they're just going to get a 3/4 flyer next turn anyway. So I guess I have to spend removal on Jadar. Or we just need Adeline to resolve and be a high toughness blocker on the ground. We need them to just not have flip the switch. Oh. I'm gonna borrow time here, and maybe they'll flip the switch that, and then Adeline might resolve next turn. Yep. This is a monstrous hand to have on the play. I think we have a shot on the draw here, but I don't know if this hand is beatable on the play. Down to 8 now. Hook on Drifter's coming back. 3 mana up again. Adeline hold up Geistwave. I don't think it matters. I mean, I guess now. Geistwave's pretty bad against either of their flyers. I don't know what the plan is now. It's definitely not chump attack. Hope for no removal from them. Alright, flashback Otherworldly Gaze, that's fine. I don't know if we Geistwave Abomination because they just get another Decayed Zombie. I guess if they dump all their mana into like Ghostly Castigator, it could be fine. Or even Geistwaving Abomination, even though they do get a Decayed Zombie off of it. Wouldn't be the end of the world, because then they would just have to... Well, no, because they have a 2-drop to recast now, they have Hook Haunt Drifter. They could go... they could just recast Abomination and play Hook Haunt Drifter. I guess I'll take 3. And hope they just Castigator here. And then we can bounce Castigator. What are you holding up? You have another instant now? Alright. Trade just does not stop. Larder Zombie keeps it all fueled here. Okay, now we can block Hook Haunt Drifter and trade into Falcon Abomination at a later time. We have 2 power. Get that Vigilance attack in. Down to 16 here. Larger Zombie going off. Alright, they just did nothing with all their mana. Just Falcon Abomination coming in here, I'm assuming. I think you've got it. Just kind of digging for another flyer here, hopefully. Now they're going to cast a Hobbling Zombie with Death Touch on the ground. Holding 3 more mana up, they could play another Hook Haunt Drifter, which would be bad. This is probably worth a flip the switch here. Death Toucher on the ground. Well, I guess we could block with Chaplain, which also gives them a decayed zombie, and their board state's just wide enough to kill us. Yeah. Alright, and there's the Hook Haunt Drifter. And another Geist Wave. We have Candlegrove Witch into double Geist Wave now. Costs 3 to disturb a Chaplain. I have to probably hold it up as a chump blocker rather than send it in trying to get it killed. What does the math look like here on blocks? Block, bounce, bounce. 2, maybe 3. We can attack with Chaplain of Bombs here. To try to get it in the graveyard. And if they don't take the bait and they don't put it in the graveyard, we just cast our Candlegrove Witch and hold up double Geist Wave. This has become infinitely closer than I thought it was possible to be. We've halved their life total now. They're down to 10. It's still not particularly close. They're definitely far in the lead. But thought this was going to be over several turns ago. Alright. We have 2 blockers on the ground for their 2 attackers on the ground. We have double Geist Wave for their flyers. Send it all in. Send everybody in. Going to attempt to, before I even declare blockers, see if this Geist Wave resolves. Geist Wave resolves, guaranteed. Cool. So now we go to actual blocks. Kill that for free. Kill that for free. Kill that for free. Take 1, go to 2. Or do I Geist Wave that as well to play it extra safe? I think I don't. They could have Arrogant Outlaw to kill us. I don't think I'm going to play around Arrogant Outlaw. If they have Arrogant Outlaw, they've got us. Replay. They play a Blood Tide Collector, makes us discard a card. Okay, we need to full control just in case. So we can respond by putting that back in their hand and don't discard a card. They have 1 blocker out now. They block there, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not lethal. We need to draw something off of Secrets of the Key here to kill them. We need to hold our flyer back if we can't kill them. Well, I guess actually this is going to be 6. We get 1 more damage in with the 1/1. They block there, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not lethal. Definitely do this. Silver Bolt. I think I just cracked this token. We play that next turn. We need to hold Geist back. We know they just have Falcon Abomination Blood Tithe Collector in hand. We're okay with Chaplain in grave. We just get that extra zombie damage in this turn, I think. Yeah, I think we do that. They are forced into the chump there. And we pass the turn. It should be pretty hard for them to get enough blockers here. And they're gonna scoop them up, the 180. completely flip things around in the last couple turns there. And we'll find that victory narrowly. 1-0 to start off this Premier Draft. Here we are in game 2. We have drawn Adeline again and Patrician Geist, both rares. Feels pretty good. We are unfortunately on the draw again, so opponent gets to curve us out if they've got the curve, but we've got the reverse curve here. Chaplain of Alms into Angler into Adeline. If they have 3 mana up turn 3 though, as we've seen flip the switch pretty popular, so we'll play Patrician Geist first if they are holding up potential counter mana later. Larder Zombie, gigantic brick wall against all my 1 toughness creatures here, unfortunately. They tap out turn 3, easy Adeline time then. And I like Chaplain of Alms coming back from graveyard as a nice flyer, because it doesn't really do anything on board anyway. As we saw last game, it's kind of good to just get that engraved to be able to actually play an important creature on board later. So yeah, we'll do that. And they will kill it, so we can try to get it back from grave if they don't have cards to exile cards from our grave. There's an Organ Hoarder from our opponent. Unfortunately, that'll make attacking with Adeline a little difficult to do well, because they could double block Adeline to kill her now. We could threaten to have a Geist Wave, but our opponent doesn't know we have 2 in our deck to threaten having. I could assume I have some kind of trick, though, if I send Adeline in. Probably not worth it. Overall. Probably just not worth it. Probably play Gavany Dawnguard, because we have an instant to hold in our hand to be able to just pass turn next turn and draw more cards. Or we could play Chaplain of Alms to give our board Ward 1 to make the removal they want to use on Adeline more expensive and get a flyer out to start attacking them with, because their bird can't block. I kind of do like Chaplain of Alms. And I mean, we could cash in Adeline to kill 2 of their creatures here and get a bunch of damage in. Get 4 damage in. You know what? I'm actually just going to cash in Adeline here. Clear out all of their blockers right now. Changed my mind there, which was pretty sloppy. We should have done the Shield Geist post-combat, because that way we get to threaten some kind of trick. And then the worst case scenario is what I decided was okay anyway, which is to just trade Adeline off for all of their blockers. Ooh, Leader. Disciple of the Drowned. They can play stuff from their grave now. Get a free search party captain. Definitely. Not free, but a cheap one. We need search party captain to cost 2 or less here to be able to hold up flip the switch. So we need to attack with 3 creatures at least, so we should just attack with everybody and they kill one of our 1/1s. Hit for 5, they're down to 10. 1 mana search party captain. Silverbolt, that's also 1 mana, so get on out here and actually just kill Lear rather than hold up our counterspell. Do that final 3 damage. That was a pretty good top deck there. Although honestly, I would not have been opposed to just holding up that flip the switch there, which was the initial plan. Even drawing it in the Silverbolt, it would be super fine to just still hold up flip the switch mana instead. I guess the biggest problem with that is it would make it really obvious if we put a Silverbolt on the board that we have flip the switch in hand, because otherwise you would always pop that Silverbolt and kill Lear. Another Organ Hoarder. Pretty great deck from our opponent. Double Organ Hoarder so far. Nice blue-green graveyard stuff. taking one from their flyer. I don't have the mana to play either of these and hold up flip the switch. I hit them down to 4 life if I send the human in and they block the human. That's fine. Human lets us get extra damage in here. I can lose a bit of value. Alright, so we can flip the switch, whatever they're going to do to try to survive, and Gavany Trap or a blocker just guarantee lethal. Card's pretty nasty. Bird Admirer. Alright. I'll flip that, and they will scoop them up. That's going to be 2-0 now for our blue-white deck. Alright, we are on the play this time, unfortunately, with a mono-blue hand. I am going to mulligan that. Now we've got both colors, but our curve doesn't start until 3. I think I'm still okay with that. I think I get rid of an island because we've got the double white Adeline in the deck, and I don't think we have any double blue cards. So we're going to keep drop an island here. Get ready to start out with Falcon Abomination, turn 3, into Search Party Captain, turn 4. Opponent is on blue, best color in formats. We've got a Gavany Trapper here as the draw that turn, pretty good. Gives us something to do before turn 3. There's the Bait Hook Angler from opponent. Let's drop this Falcon Abomination. And pass the turn. Blue, black, the deck to beat. From our opponent, we're down to 18, and turn 2 Angler, turn 3 Hobbling Zombie, pretty good start. We'll go Search Party Captain here, thanks to our Falcon Abomination being able to attack. Draw into a Bait Hook Angler of our own, not bad. So the Hobbling Zombie's Death Touch and gives them a Decayed Zombie when it dies. They're going to send in the Bait Hook Angler here. I'm just going to take that. Okay. Got a Loyal Griff if something really weird happens here, but we could kind of just attack all. Search Party Captain trading into Hobbling Zombies, really no big deal. We don't have great ways to use our zombie decayed tokens, so we might as well just get in with damage with them while we still can. Alright, trade for the Hobbling Zombie, that's fine. They get their Decayed Zombie. And they might be holding up Flip the Switch or something here, so maybe we just pass. But I can also go Silverbolt Bait Hook Angler, and they can only counter something weak. I think we just pass, play another Flyer, Loyal Griff. Revenge the Drowned, okay. Well, Loyal Griff now then. Counter that spell. It still goes back to my hand, so it still slows me down, but now they don't get the Decayed Zombie, and I don't have to skip my next draw step if I want to redraw the Falcon Abomination. It's just in my hand. Siege Zombie's a problem. That can put some big pressure on us by tapping Decayed Zombies to get extra damage in. So that is scary. I like Gavany Dawnguard. Having a 3/3 on this board is good, but they're holding up Flip the Switch again, potentially. So kind of like Bait Hook Angler is like a super solid blocker here still. I'll go to combat, see if they're holding up some kind of combat trick. Nope. Definitely not. Yeah, it's got to be Flip the Switch if they're holding up an instant. Switch my Angler. And it's probably worth it. Not going to switch the Angler. That is pretty much a guarantee that they're holding up Flip the Switch, though. If they're going to think that long on it, unless they are playing me real hard, they'll flip the switch my Silver Bolt, though. I'm very okay with that. I think Angler's more impactful than the Bolt here. But I guess that's because I have Borrowed Time. They don't know I have Borrowed Time to be able to get rid of this Siege Zombie if it's going to become that big of a problem. Angler fight. The Angler fight happens. And they will play the Hook Haunt Drifter from their grave. And a No Way Out. Goodbye, Soul Guide Griff. I cannot afford you. Goodbye, Falcon Abomination. So we can play Gavany Dawnguard on the ground and potentially draw more cards. Yeah, I guess it is. Play Gavany Dawnguard here. If we hit a land, if we hit an island later, we can spend 3 on Geist and 1 on Angler on a later turn. We just play Dawnguard. Taking 2 damage a turn, 1 from Drifter, 1 from Zombie. We still attack with Loyal Griff. If each player takes 1 each turn, or takes 2 each turn, I slowly win. Because I've got slightly more life. But as soon as they get like 1 more creature out, that changes. Or a couple more creatures to where they can siege Zombie twice. And I guess the zombies do get to go wide on a later turn, get around my defenses and kill me. So we just Borrowed Time Siege Zombie here. But I mean, I'd love to flip tonight. We might have to stop attacking right now until we can draw more land and play more blockers. Just get rid of Siege Zombie and pass turn, I guess it is. Yeah, we need to play defensively for a sec. If we can survive this little initial Decayed Zombie onslaught. Oh my god, nice draw. Nice draw for sure there. We do hit our land though, so now we can Geist Angler. Which leaves us with 3 blockers up. Still get so low with those zombies. If they just attack all, we block 3 zombies and take 5. Still not quite lethal, so I do think I attack this turn, but then maybe not next turn. The Siege Zombie off the top might have just killed us here. I would hope not. You know, the blue on blue there, it's like impossible to read that toughness. The power toughness, that is a 2/3 Hook Haunt Drifter. Alright, they don't have any spells. Gavany Dawnguard gets to go off. We draw into Adeline. We can double spell this turn easily. We play Adeline and Secrets of the Key. We're taking 2 a turn from Siege Zombie, but we'll have all the blockers in the world to make sure the Decayed Zombies never get in. So we just need to do more than 2 damage to them each turn, which we can definitely do. They have 6 attackers. We'll have 5 blockers. Think. Oh my god. I don't know how hard I attack here because we have to worry about the crackback. They hit us for 2, we're down to 6. They attack with everybody. We're at 6 life. We just need to not be able to take... We need to be able to block all but 3. So we can attack with 2 here, unless they top deck removal, then we can only attack with 1. I think I just attack with 1 this turn. And then next turn I just like attack with my entire board for lethal. Because they only have 3 blockers, so our ground troops can get damage in too. We can tap 1 down with Gavany Trapper. Yeah, we have lethal next turn, even if we only hit them for 2 this turn. So we're down to 6. We flipped today because we did 2 spells. Did not hit anything that time. So no draw that time. They have another land. Flip back to Knight. Draw Sanctifier. Draw for turn. 8-hook Angler. We tap down a blocker and attack with everybody. Right? Because they have 2 blockers. They block that. They block that. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Could also just tap the flyer and only attack with the flyers. But I think it's better to do it this way, because then even if they have the 1 removal spell and they kill a flyer, they'll now have to block with those 2, so we know they don't siege zombie us anymore or crack back anymore when we drop a bait hook angler post combat. I guess they crack back with decayed zombies. Maybe they would still find lethal if they had instant speed removal there. Not sure. Either way, that's going to be 3-0 now as we head into game 4. Here we are now on the play in game 4. I could keep this to go Secrets of the Key into sacrificing the clue on turn 2, just hoping to get to Search Party Captain. And then we definitely have Patrician Geist on 3 still. It's a little risky, but I'm pretty into Secrets of the Key Patrician Geist being castable in this hand. And there's always the chance, even if it isn't a huge chance, that we just immediately top deck a Plains next turn. And then we're just playing Candlegrove Witch next turn. Snarling Wolf to start off from our opponent. That can attack as a 3/3 if they spend 2 mana. Can be kind of scary. Not hit the Plains here, so we are going to investigate. Sacrifice this clue to draw a card. And then we will Patrician Geist on turn 3. No matter what, pretty much. I guess if I hit the white source turn 3, I might rather play Sanctifier now. Alright, here comes the wolf. And nothing to play turn 2, so they're just going to hit us for 3. We have nothing to play turn 2, so we're just going to draw a card off this clue, and there is the Plains. Ooh, Clarion Cathars is going to be really nice on turn 4. Give us multiple blockers and everything. Do I want to play the Geist in the Sky and start hitting them back, or do I want to just play Sanctifier and start going for blocks here? Actually, I could even just play Sanctifier and go for attacks, too. Because if they're going to spend next turn buffing the wolf again, hitting us hard, then it means they're probably not putting another creature out. And we can attack on the ground pretty fine, pretty freely, if that is the case. And if they do play a creature this turn, probably a 2 or 3 mana creature, I'd be okay with trading the Sanctifier into. Alright, clear shot it is, just going to kill our Sanctifier. Pretty glad we did not immediately slam down the Patrician Geist, if that was going to be the case here. So we just go for that Cathars here, get multiple creatures out. Do I Search Party Captain, just get a 2/2 draw a card, or do I drop the flyer now? None of our plays are that mana efficient, so I think I'm just going to play the Cathars because it makes the most of all of our mana here. May draw another removal spell from them if they were going to use a removal spell on a 3/2. Probably cool to use one on a 3/3. I like their sleeves, these Obnixilis sleeves from Streets of New Capenna. Very cool. I don't know how you get those. Probably just in the store. Alright, Harvesttide Sentry is the first play for turn. They may be playing 2 2-mana cards here. We will find out. If we can keep them off of Coven, our 1/1's going to be good. Oh, they're just going to fight. They're going to 2-for-1 themselves to kill our 3/3. It feels like this game's going pretty well for us, because we're going to have the card advantage lead pretty handedly. And now we get to be really mana efficient by attacking in with our 1/1, giving Search Party Captain that cost reduction to be able to play the Search Party Captain and the Candlegrove Witch, and have the better board state, and the same number of cards in hand. Kind of leading in every facet of the game except for life total here. Fifth land from our opponent. Send in that Snarling Wolf. I'll take it. I can crack back harder. Not particularly interested in trading these both into a combat trick from our opponent. If I double block and then they buff and combat trick, yeah, like that. We would have lost both creatures there. I guess Duel for Dominance is a fight spell, not a bite spell, so it actually still would have traded. But I didn't want to take that risk. Now we can Geist Angler or Geist and hold up the Geist Wave. I think I'm just playing it safe here. I feel like I have a pretty demanding lead to where I can just be really safe about my plays. So now I can just hold up the Geist Wave in case of some absolute madness, and if it doesn't happen, I can Faithful Mending instead, throwing a Bait Hook Angler into a grave, which is going to be a 1-mana 2/3 flyer. Ooh. Geist Wave's a little tempting to cast on that, but I can just Geist Wave it next turn. So we'll Faithful Mending here, discard this land, discard this Angler. Now we have a 1-mana 2/3 flyer to cast from our grave, as well as still getting to Geist Wave their 5-mana creature to really kinda ruin their day here. Alright, they are down to 11. We'll pass the turn. I'm probably going to do Secrets of the Key here over Faithful Mending, just get some clue tokens out, because I don't really like Faithful Mending blind here without a flashback or disturb card in hand. Augur of Autumn, that is a good card. They can play lands off the top of their library, and if they have Coven, if they have 3 different powers amongst their creatures, then they can also play creatures off the top of their library. So they did get a land off of it, so they did essentially draw a card off of it. So good stuff from Augur of Autumn. Alright, it's Faithful Mending with a land in hand now. Probably want to keep that, but let's draw some clues. Draw some cards off the clues before we go into combat or anything, see if it matters. Flip the switch. Alright, I guess I'm not keeping the land in hand. I'm going to hold up Flip the Switch. I should have went double blue, not double white, in case I drew Adeline. Drew Loyal Griff. Alright, now we have tons of great instants to hold up again, and that is what we're going to do. Augur of Autumn is also a 2/3 body on ground, so they have a 3/3 and 2/3 blocker on the ground, so we are just hitting in the sky as we pass the turn. They are down to 7 now. It is nighttime for their werewolves, so that Tireless Hauler will be a 6/6 Vigilance. But we do have a Flip the Switch, which will be pretty nasty if that's what they're going for. Tireless Hauler it is, Flip the Switch it is. Counter that and to get a Decayed Zombie token. If we attack with everybody now, we're hitting for 5. So not quite lethal. Gotta wait one more turn here. Play this Gavany Trapper. Even more firmly assure lethal next turn. Fangblade Brigand, sure. I can buff their whole field, but not enough to kill us. And then a Bounding Wolf with Reach. the wolf with reach, we can bounce that and then still have lethal in the sky. And so that'll be the plan. Throw the reach blocker back into their hand. They only have 2 mana up. They can't afford to recast it. You could also just tap it with Trapper, I guess. Not spend a card. Alright, so our opponent does scoop them up. That is going to be 4-0 now for this blue-white Disturb deck. Here we are now, game 5. Opponent is on the play, but we have another quite aggressive hand here. Chaplain into Angler into Search Party Captain. And that's even if we don't hit a land. If we get to attack with Chaplain and Angler next turn, or turn 3, we can still definitely cast the Search Party Captain. Love that this Chaplain of Alms has First Strike, so it'll trade into this if we want to. I'm tempted, but I think I need to wait and see if I draw a 3rd land or not. If I do draw a 3rd land, which I have, then that's a fine trade. That's a fine how do you do. I'll go for the trade next turn, I think. Because now it's A-okay. Might of the Old Ways. Okay, play the trick on us. So trade a trick into our Chaplain. That is also a super fine deal for us, because they had to spend a combat trick to kill our card. That gives us some more value later. Get our Search Party Captain out. Draw our card. Another land. Doing really well here now. Just need another Plains at some point if we ever draw Adeline. Get that Voldaren Stinger in. You got it. Buff it up, hit for 3, we're down to 16. We've got to flip the switch at the ready, and a Loyal Griff, we can play at instant speed if we don't need it. I love that. That's my plan. Flip the switch if they play something good, and if they don't, just play a Loyal Griff and get a flyer down. Alright, opponent goes to combat, no blocks. Nothing to play, just buff that Stinger, get in for the 3. And Evolving Wilds, crack that for another forest, I'm guessing. We'll just drop our Loyal Griff. And I would not like to bounce anything here. Not greedy enough to try to draw another card off Captain, when I can just push the aggressive lead. Kind of interested in Clarion Cathars or Chaplain of Alms here. Don't get to hold up flip the switch if I do that, but unless their next turn play is like incredibly good, I think it's better to keep spreading this board state out for now. And then turn 6 I get to go Sanctifier and hold up flip the switch, which is really good. Unless it's like a Wrath effect. I think we've got this. They can play any kind of good, like 5-drop rare creature or 6-drop rare creature even. Even the strongest one in the set, the Howlmaster or whatever, the 6-mana 6/6 that makes 2 2/2s on the ground. I think we can beat that with just flyers. Tireless Hauler, alright, it is not a big rare, it's just a big dork. Very happy to see that. Now we just keep doing our thing with our flyers. They had 6 mana up and their best play was Tireless Hauler. I think again we don't have to hold up flip the switch. We play the flyer. Speed up the clock, potentially. Killing them in 2 turns instead of 3. Send the Hauler in and we chump with our 1/1. We are at 13 life here. After all those Stinger hits. I should have chumped with Angler. Get another flyer down. Just in case they kill one of our other 2. It's not going to speed up the clock as it currently stands, but it'll help out if they kill one of these flyers. So yeah, I should have blocked with that. That was loose. Now we have double flip the switch. I'm only going to need one of those, so we can drop the Sanctifier here. Get another blocker down. They're down to 2 life. If they don't kill us this turn, we pretty much definitely get them because we hit them in the sky, or we just go wide. Augur Bottom, they will have Coven, so I'm gonna counter that with Flip the Switch. If they wouldn't have Coven and it could only hit a land, I'd be pretty okay with that, but I'm gonna Flip the Switch so they can't get like a flyer off the top potentially or anything. This is basically the same deck we just played against, another green-red deck with the Augur Bottom. A cheap creature that pumps up to do extra damage. Alright, just make sure we don't die to some weird trample tricks or something. And we're killing both the 4/5s off these blocks. And throwing a lot of toughness there to be safe. They have stung us for 1. The 4/5s are gone. Angler's in the grave. Anything else? No, they're going to scoop them up. That is now 5-0 for the blue-white Spirits deck. Game 6 now, another slower hand. We don't get to do anything till turn 3, and that's only if we hit another white source, because this is a double white card. It's actually kind of sketchy here. We have Geist Wave and Flip the Switch, though. I think I want to... I'm very tempted to mulligan this. It's almost like we don't actually have a play, because we just don't have a play in hand unless we hit a plains. We're completely interactive. If I don't hit the plains soon. I'm gonna mulligan. This is really good. I think we get rid of Silver Bolt. We still need that next plains, but even without it, we have Bait Hook Angler into Search Party Captain as our turn 2, turn 3 play. So this is way better, even if Adeline weren't in the hand. If this were some other random creature, this would be a better hand, so that worked pretty well for us. Don't like to see the Triskaidekaphile. Not because I'm scared of it getting them a ton of value, but because it makes sure that if I attack with Bait Hook Angler, they get to just kill the Angler. So if I want to turn 3 my Search Party Captain, then, oh, snap, never mind, okay. I can say if I want to turn 3 my Search Party Captain, I have to chump attack with Angler. I guess I still do if that is the Morning Patrol coming down. But now I drew into the white source for Adeline, and I can cast her while they're tapped out. Yeah, I'll play around a counterspell if they have their own borrowed time, though. Adeline is very dead. I think I pass here. Don't chump attack just to get a 1/1 in. Fingers crossed. No borrowed time. No borrowed time. 4 mana up. Very sketchy. Definitely not attacking with Adeline. Also don't really want to cast a really good spell right now. Because, again, Flip the Switch. So popular. I might be tempted to attack with the Bait Hook Angler here. And then I can go Patrician Geist and cast it from grave. But I guess then I'd be casting a good spell. Do I just Search Party Captain pre-combat? Is that the plan? I guess so. Flip my Search Party Captain. This is a fine card to make me discard. Or to counter. Alright, so I'm guessing no counterspell if they don't want to counter Search Party Captain. Then we pass. They're just going to draw a card off Triskaidekaphile. Fair enough. Solid value. Pass the turn. So now we're fairly certain no counter. So we go Bait Hook Angler into Geist, replay Angler. All right. If they don't play a creature again next turn, we're just going to Borrowed Time Morning Patrol at this point. Just so we can actually attack with Adeline. I keep expecting them to play a better one. I see. I guess we lose. Wrath effects unlimited, I swear to God. Nebelgast Intruder it is. Now they just have probably 4 or 5 creatures in hand here. Yep, that's just over. Gale Drifter is a good start to getting back into it. Maybe they had a flip the switch the whole time, but they just wanted... They were okay just letting our board state get bigger. Yeah. I would have scooped so hard by now if I wasn't recording. We're staying in it. We're staying in it. Try our best here. Vanquished hard. I didn't even remember there is a White Wrath in this format. And the Soul Guide Griff to get my Disturb card. I guess right back at you. Right back at you. I don't need to Borrowed Time here, so I'll keep it. Now I do. Now I do. Need to Borrowed Time the Sludge Monster. No, thank you. Some kind of giant mythic rare angel. I'll keep this if we draw Faithful Mending. Shipwreck Sifter's number 2. If they discard a spirit, that's going to be bad news. They're both going to be 2/3s, I think. Yep. Yep, and it's a Disturb card as well. Wow, and they drew a trick to probably just kill us here. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, if they have any trick, we're dead. Oh, they just startle the Griff? Okay, still kill Intruder. Double startle the Griff. Good lord. We're very done on board. That is just how Wrath of God works in Limited. Just leaves one player with 1 card in hand and the other with 6 or 7. There's really no coming back from that. 5-1 it is. We head into round 7. Alright, we're on the play here. Turn 3 Sanctifier. We've got both of our colors and some flip the switches. Not exactly great, but definitely not a mulligan. Just don't have very many like quality creatures to start rolling out here on the play. The Ebony Dawnguard's definitely one if we hit another white source. Playing against green-white with a turn 2 Timberland Guide, 2 mana 2/2. Drop our Slush Sanctifier, which unfortunately definitely shows off. Well, I'm not a huge fan of 3 mana 3/2s because they just trade down into 2 mana 2/2s. Easy, no blocks. And flip here. We get to keep that Plains on top and a Candlegrove Witch. I have to put one into the grave. Oh, well, goodbye, Candlegrove Witch. Send in Sanctifier, see what kind of tricks they've got for us here. Nothing. Alright, Ebony Dawnguard it is. How much ward does this have? Just ward 1? Yep, ward 1. 1 additional mana to target it. Okay, blue source here. Holding up, flip the switch, Geist Wave. We're safe to attack with Dawn Guard. What are you doing? No. Let's counter that. Counter that and just beat the Dawn Guard on board. Now if I Geist Wave, I draw a card off of Dawn Guard here. So I think I'm going to Geist Wave my own Sanctifier. Because we'll flip today now, so we get to draw a card off Geist Wave, and then draw a card off of Dawn Guard if we're lucky. We are not lucky. Rough. I think statistically that was probably worth it to try there, but not hitting is rough. And our opponent, I guess, is just flooded out. Being able to counter defend the Celestius was just too much of a blowout for them to recover from there. That'll be 6-1 now as we head into what could be the final round. If we can get one last victory here, get a nice 7-1 run. But if not, got another attempt afterwards. 2 shots before we're out. Here we are in what could be the final game. Pretty rough hand here. We need to draw 1 land. If it's any land, though, this hand can be straight gassed. And we're on the draw. On the draw, I'm going to keep this. I have 3 draw steps to hit a land. We have failed the first draw step. Coin flip 1, lost. Coin flip number 2. Lost coin flip 2. If we lose coin flip 3, we lose this game. A little bit of a gambling here. If I get 3 tails in a row, we lose. Not guaranteed, but probably. Okay. We hit it on the 3rd flip. Great stuff. Okay. Playing against mono red so far with Perforator coming in hot. Kind of like dropping Angler. It trades well into Perforator as well as not getting hit by removal too hard. Might feel a little weird when I could just play a Gavany Dawn Guard here, but I don't really want to put it in danger. But I'm fine putting Angler in danger. The cheapest red removal spell that can exile is 5 mana in this format. Play with fire. They're going to scry 1, try to hit their 2nd color here. Scry to the bottom. Opponent must have kept a similar hand here, just a mono red hand in their 2-color deck. Search Party Captain. I don't really need to reduce its cost here, but if I do, I can hold up Secrets of the Key. I don't really think I want to attack with Angler. I want to play it safe here at the lower life total. I think I go Dawn Guard, hold up Secrets, I guess. I guess I'm playing it wildly safe here. I probably should have attacked Angler if my plan was to play Dawn Guard, because Dawn Guard blocks Perforator super well. Alright, if they don't cast a spell this turn, we will flip our Dawn Guard, and we will. And we'll draw a Chaplain off the top. Okay, now we're just kind of set for life, so we can attack both here. Now we get to just start playing really ballsy, because we've got a million cards. We've got Geist Wave for interaction. Why are you wanting to double white? That feels weird. Okay, I'm okay holding up Loyal Griff and Geist Flame, but I kind of like playing this Chaplain so that we flip today and get another shot with Dawn Guard, which we did hit. We hit Patrician Geist. Gavany Dawn Guard is nuts. Such a nuts card, and now we're still holding up Geist Wave. And our opponent, I guess, just does not draw their 2nd color, and that's going to be a 7-1 run, moving us from Mythic 200 all the way up to Mythic 29 in this draft. Pretty incredible run. All around, really nice deck we ended up with here. We'll take another look at it before we end the video. Maybe talk about the overperformers and underperformers. Never used to play Faithful Mending, but I decided to try it around this time around with the blue-white deck. It was just like the only card in the pack that looked interesting at all. And that card played pretty well for us. We get to discard those Anglers, get them into the graveyard, draw some extra cards. So we only really had that one time, but it played pretty well. Flip the switch, borrowed time. Obviously those play really well. Great removal, great counterspell. The Geist Waves were even nicer than I thought here. Secrets of the Key was pretty filler, and it played pretty filler. Sanctifier also was pretty filler, played pretty filler, but overall really big fan of almost everything in this deck. But the really big overperformers, obviously Gavany, Dawnguard, Adeline being absolutely nuts. The Patrician guys did a lot of work alongside bait hook anglers. Being able to bring those back as 2/3 flyers was great. The anglers themselves were just great deals on their own. Really great stuff going on in this deck. Pretty dang happy with it. But that is going to end today's video. As always, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see some more like it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That'll let the YouTube algorithm know to send some more of these videos in your notification feeds. And once again, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.